What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. As you all know, I'm sure, the Destiny servers are down for maintenance today. What you might not know is that you can actually download update 2.4.0 while the servers are down. It's now downloading for me. I'm sure it can be downloaded for you as well. I'm on PlayStation, so it might be delayed on Xbox. It might have already happened on Xbox. I'm not positive about this. And Bungie also released some weapon tuning notes. So Update 2.4 is going to have a weapon balance change, a sandbox change, and they've released a bunch of notes in regards to what exotics are changing, as well as legendary weapons like sniper rifle and auto rifles. So we're going to go through the list real quick. We're going to start off with the Fabian strategy. Two big changes here. The first one is kills with this weapon now automatically load a portion of the magazine. I assume this portion of the magazine, this new ammo, is going to get loaded from your reserve ammo. It's not going to be magic ammo that just appears out of nowhere. Still very useful, I assume, especially in PvE. Increase the base range plus 16 and stability plus 44. One of my biggest problems with the Fabian strategy was that it just wasn't very accurate. Now, with an increase of range for 16% and stability for 44%, it should be much more accurate. I'm looking forward to trying this out in PvP. Not expecting great things out of it in PvP, but in PvE, I do think it might have some potential now. Thorn, we all know Thorn is coming back for Rise of Iron. This is only going to get one huge change. Reduce base range by 25%. So if you've looked at Thorn in year 2 at all, you'll know that after the Taken King, the Thorn did get changed a little bit, but it kept its Send It perk, which really gave it excellent range, especially when you compare it to other hand cannons in the game right now. So by reducing that base range of 25%, hopefully that brings Thorn in line range-wise with other hand cannons. The universal remote has been talked about a lot lately, especially since the April update. This shotgun will be seeing two big changes. First, the exotic perk range bonus is reduced by 75%, so it no longer guarantees maximum shotgun range. They also increase the rate of fire, which lowers the damage as a secondary effect. So I expect the universal remote to be much less of a player in year 3 of Destiny, in Rise of Iron. Without having it that maximum shotgun range and that maximum power, it's just not going to be as effective. We'll see. We'll see how these weapon changes kind of roll out and how they actually affect the Crucible. But my assumption is we're going to see a lot less of the universal remote in Rise of Iron. The Drake's Promise is seeing 2 buffs. They're increasing the damage by 8%, thank God. They're also increasing the magazine size by 3, so you get an extra burst out of Drake's Promise. Hopefully these 2 changes bring the Uber Tuber in line with other sidearms in the game. Other sidearms are getting a buff as well. I'll talk about that later. The gun has always been fun. The Drake's Promise has always been a fun weapon. It's very unique in the world of Destiny. In fact, it's unique to any game I've ever played, so it's fun to use. However, it's just never been very effective, so hopefully this will increase its effectiveness a little bit. The Touch of Malice. This is an interesting change. The Touch of Malice self-damage infliction now removes Blessing of Light. So Bungie mentions that it is intended that Touch of Malice still shine best in Kingsfall, but outside of the raid, clever players figured out how to avoid Touch of Malice's single drawback by imbuing themselves with Blessing of Light. But the darkness has been boiling stronger within the gun. So what people were doing was using Blessing of Light to counteract the damage that the Touch of Malice induces to its user, and get that extra damage out of basically the extended firing of that weapon after you've run out of bullets. This is no longer going to work, it appears. It's going to immediately remove your Blessing of Light, and you're just going to immediately start taking health from your own character. This will affect the raid. I do use Blessing of Light to counteract the Blessing or the Touch of Malice's damage infliction, so we'll see. Of course, Kingsfall raid is going to be getting a lot easier now that we're going to be leveling up again, so shouldn't really affect the Kingsfall raid too much. Boolean Gemini, a overlooked weapon. They added an intrinsic perk of high caliber rounds, so this weapon should now incur more flinch into the people you hit. No Time to Explain is getting an added intrinsic perk of Headseeker. So again, it should be doing more damage. Hopefully this makes it a more valid weapon to use inside the Crucible. All right, next up is sniper rifles, and this is sure to be a very controversial subject in the coming weeks. Sniper rifles are getting nerfed, and they're getting nerfed in quite a few ways. The first thing is the mid to high impact sniper rifle category. The 1,000-yard stare type of sniper rifle is getting a damage nerf of 6.95%. This will basically keep them from reliably killing a high armor guardian in their super. A couple of them, the LDR 5001 and the longbow synthesis, is also going to be getting a nerf to their aim assist. As a result, the slowest firing family of sniper rifle, the Black Spindle essentially, should be your key tool to take down supers, balanced by a lower magazine size, fire rate, and aim assist. So this is a huge nerf to most people's favorite type of sniper rifle. They're getting a damage reduction. They're not going to be able to reliably kill a high armor guardian in their super. And the two most popular ones, the LDR and the longbow, are both getting a nerf to their aim assist. But that's not all. They're also going to be having more flinch in the future. So here's what Bungie says. Increase the starting strength for aim deflection, aka flinch, when players take damage while scoped in from 30 starting to 50% starting. So instead of having a 30% deflection, you'll have a 50% deflection. That means that your aim is going to get thrown off further. With every subsequent hit, the strength of deflection increases until you hit 100 max deflection. So what's this mean? It means more flinch the first time you get hit and more flinch each subsequent time you get hit. Bungie has also increased the sniper ADS aim deflection multiplier by 1.9x. It was 1.85x. Two changes coming down the pike for auto rifles. The first one is they're reducing the maximum magazine size for the highest rate of fire auto rifle family. All weapons in the Doctrine of Passing family. So the weapon will still be just as effective while it's firing, but it won't fire for as long. They're also increasing the damage for the middle rate of fire autos. This is a welcome change. They're upgrading it by 1.5%, hopefully to make it a little more competitive in the Crucible. Shotguns are getting changed, and the changes here are to try to make other shotguns besides the highest impact, lowest rate of fire, weapons like the Party Crasher or the Conspiracy Theory D, usable in the Crucible. So the Mobius specifically is getting a decreased spread on Titan class shotgun in ADS. So 0.1 zoom factor increase. They're also increasing the base stability by 60%. They're reducing the spread angle penalty on shotguns with the perk full auto. Invective has not been affected. They're increasing high rate of fire and middle low rate of fire shotgun damages by 2%. So effectively, what we should see here is that faster firing shotguns should be more useful in the Crucible. I highly doubt it's going to work. The great thing about a high impact shotgun is that you get the maximum amount of range for a one-shot kill. Anything less than the maximum amount of range for a one-shot kill is frankly useless unless you miss. Pulse rifles are getting some changes. They're increasing the rate of fire for the Hake pulse rifle Ludmilla D. They're also giving a minor increase of 2% to damage for middle rate of fire family pulse rifles like the Nerwin's Mercy. I love my Nerwin's Mercy. Would love to see this thing become viable in the Crucible again. Sidearms are getting a whole host of changes. The first one is they're unifying the damage for all sidearm types. They're increasing damage for the existing Hake sidearm families by 3% for lowest rate of fire and 7% for the highest rate of fire. They're decreasing damage for non-hit scan sidearms by 5% for the Veteran Dynasty and the Queen's Choice. Minor extension of damage fall-off point for sidearms across the board by 0.5 meter. Minor increase of stability for sidearms across the board. Added damage bonus in PvE, 20 or 30% depending on combat tier, to accommodate two new faster firing sidearm families releasing in Rise of Iron. All current sidearm rate of fire bars will be slightly shorter. This is so that Bungie has more space to display rate of fire differentiation It does not change the actual fire rate, just the stat bar representation. Rocket launchers are getting two what I think are really weird changes. The first one is they're going to increase the effective range on the explosions for the cluster bomb perk. That should be great for PvE. I don't know that anybody uses this in PvP. Maybe they'll start. Grenades and horseshoes perk activation radius is being reduced from 1.3 to 1 meter. This is actually a further nerfing of grenades and horseshoes after the Taken King nerfed it as well. However, the truth is not affected by this change, which is fine because the truth is the only rocket launcher anybody uses anymore. So I don't really understand making a change at all if you're not going to change the truth. Let's move on to machine guns. Increased damage on highest rate of fire machine guns. So theoretically, the highest rate of fire machine guns are now going to be much more usable in the Crucible. Hand cannons are a bit odd. Bungie says you will only find small bug fixes for 2.4.0 for this weapon category. However, as a preview to Rise of Iron, newly minted low rate of fire hand cannons have a higher maximum possible range stat, giving players a distinct reason to choose that type of weapon. So in Rise of Iron, the high fire rate hand cannons could be more usable. They also fixed an issue where the hand cannon Zauli's Bane rate of fire stat would display incorrectly. And they fixed an issue where the Taken King Vanguard and Arms Day hand cannons Down in Doubt 00 and Kumakatak stats would also display incorrectly. Fusion rifles only bug fixes again. Accelerated coil correctly reflects damage reduction now on the UI stat bars. There's no change to gameplay effect, UI only. And they fixed an issue where stat bars on the Teshun Rage displayed incorrectly. They also made quite a few changes to perks. Basically all those perks that you would groan when you saw come up in a role that you were hoping was better, like Take a Knee, Exhumed, Cascade, Grave Robber, Guerrilla Fighter, they're all getting buffed. So hopefully they're better in the future. We'll have to wait and see if people actually want them. There was also one nerf for unflinching, again targeting snipers. They're decreasing the efficacy of the perk from 25% flinch reduction to 15% flinch reduction. Oh, and one more thing. They possibly have fixed the crash related to special effects triggered by the Firefly perk. So hopefully Firefly no longer crashes the game. So there's a lot to go over. There's a lot of information here. They've made a lot of changes to the sandbox. It'll be interesting in the next week or so to go through all of our favorite weapons, see how they've changed. Sniper rifles are definitely going to have huge changes made to them. We'll see if the higher fire rate shotguns are actually useful or not. I doubt it, but we'll see. Lots of changes here. It'll be fun to talk about this on the Planet Destiny podcast tonight. Let's look forward to that podcast tonight. It'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, we stream that live on Twitch. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.